Hi, hello, and good evening. It is March 30th, and this week in the Big Brother Canada house, we lost two people, almost lost three, which really would have been the icing on the cake. But yeah, we got lots to discuss tonight, so let's get into it, huh? All right. I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined by my festy besties, John Dunphy and Gina Morgino. And this is Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod or on our half updated website at stratchatpod.com.
Okay.
Halfway, I updated the logo to now highlight the new neon-y thing we have going on. I updated the streaming schedule. And I did put this stream on there. All right. Wow. So the bottom past episodes catalog is not up to date. But we're getting there. We're working on it.
That's progress. I'll take it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. More importantly, we saw two people leave the house this week, and neither by eviction. Really, really wild. First, sadly, we said goodbye to Vanessa. We don't really know what happened there.
I saw whoever was running her Twitter account said something about health reasons, but I don't know if that's her or like a person that's close to her.
Right.
I did see like whatever it was though has been resolved. Everybody's okay. So, glad to hear that.
Okay. Happy to hear that as well. We did have a fun moment from her this week though. And she was mentioning like, I don't know, Zach saying that she doesn't know how to play the game. And she's like, you're right. I don't. But that feels like a really long time ago.
It really does, yeah.
Yeah, I also made me wonder if that was even this week, but it was.
I also really enjoyed the tweet from Vanessa's account tonight too during the episode.
Oh my God.
Who's emotional now?
Yeah. Oh, so good, so good.
Yeah, we're not really going to be able to go in order tonight, are we? We have to obviously talk about tonight and this whole thing with Zach. Which was essentially, a grown man throwing a tantrum and basically just walking out, because he didn't get his way. Because you want to keep saying, I'm standing on this hill, because, the rules were broken and everything. But you definitely did try to muster up the votes first. And if you didn't get the votes,
it's like,
you would have stayed. So
I mean,
this is really
let's
because
get into
you lost.
Let's get into the whole timeline. So this started, he found out about the note a week ago, said nothing. Then somebody who was on the block won veto and took themselves off, and he was the renom. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. Now we're going to use production as a strategy to get the eviction canceled because I'm on the block and I refuse to go home. Well, clearly that doesn't work. So now it's, I'm just going to self-evict. Not fair. I'm going to self-evict. But not before trying to make sure, if I have the votes, I'll stick around. Fine. That's totally fine. That's great. Yeah. Doesn't work either. And now it's, before I get voted out, I will take myself out and paint it as this like, oh no, it's because like the integrity of the game was compromised. I can't possibly
the principle of it.
The game. So now he gets to go outside in the real world and be a martyr and act like I took myself out because they weren't playing according to the rules. And I can't possibly play a game like that. It's like, come on.
Well, luckily, no one is going to think of him as a martyr because everybody saw how much of like an ass that he was, and it's just funny too.
You just so clearly see him like still to this day being like, "I have done nothing wrong." Like he genuinely believes.
But I take comfort in the fact that no one is going to be buying that bullshit. So, I also thought it was funny about the whole talking about the integrity of the game and hope is cheating and this and that when. I think that Zach and Ty are almost just as guilty that they knew about it and didn't say anything about it until they thought that it might save Zach's game. And then the fact that Sharon Tharp tweeted this tonight saying about Hope. So he didn't even bring it in, talking about the note. His girlfriend snuck it into his sock. He should have told production, but it's not really his fault. Production should have caught that. And then talking about Zach and Ty, saying, so those bros are basically using production by threatening to walk. I feel like that's closer to cheating than finding a letter in your sock. But hey, that's just me. It's like,
it is bonkers that they faced no penalty for using production as a strategy, which is like one of their biggest things that you can't do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, and later on, it felt like Hope actually did get a chance to kind of talk to people about what had happened, but I got really annoyed with production at one point because Hope came into one of the rooms and started to like try to explain to people what was going on, and production was like, stop talking about this, stop talking about production. And it's like, well, hold on now, like
Zach, Ty, and Dan just had a whole conversation about it.
Like you have to be able to talk about what's going on here. Like, oh God.
But I mean, truly, like, if that is the case and he did not bring it in with him and it was given to him in the clothes that he received after he had already moved into the house, how was production not looking through that stuff to make sure that there was not, like, in this situation, there was no game information that he was given. It was just like an I love you note, which is, I don't see how that can be considered cheating, but fine. But how are they not catching it? How are they not going through stuff to make sure there is no game information getting fed in?
Right.
Yeah. It's just another embarrassment for production. It's like, honestly, it's like, because people have known about this for an extended period of time. Hope has seen this note, at some point took it out and must have read it. Has other people are aware of this, and Hope has apparently shown it to people and passed it to people. And somehow it took Zach and Ty having a conversation with Dan S about it for them to even know anything about it.
That's the thing too. Like, not only did they not catch it, but is nobody monitoring the cameras while they're in the house? Like, I get we don't have live feeds right now, but like not one person in production saw him find the note, read it, show it to other people, have other people have a conversation about it. Only right now, a week later, when we're using it as a strategy, are we finding out that this note is in there? How is nobody finding out about this ahead of time?
There's so many questions around this. I think this is also part of the reason why we're getting these stupid digital dailies, and now they pulled them. Like, there's a lot probably being hidden from us in this season.
I can only imagine how much bigger of a blowout this was that we just are never going to get to see, because we see it all the time when we have live feeds, that like what the edit shows us is like a fraction of whatever the drama turned into. And if you're not watching feeds, you're getting like crumbs of the story. What are we not being shown that happened yesterday, the day before?
Yeah.
It's such a shame.
I did think it was interesting. Well, go ahead.
No, sorry. No, I just said when they posted that they weren't even going to be putting out dailies anymore, like it was like all I could respond with was the Big Brother gif of of Miss Riley just like taking a drink from her mug and spitting it out, laughing. Like, what a disaster this is. Like,
oh my God, we have had more walks than evictions. Also, I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah, this is screaming BBCAN 8 to me. Because that was really a hot mess of a season also. I mean, obviously before it was canceled, but there was still a lot of walks. There was a lot of self-evicts and stuff. Like, it was a disaster. And this is right up there. But the game marches on. But all this happened, there's a lot of stuff that happened before this. What did you think of Hope basically, pledging his like undying allegiance to Kuzie here, stepping up to be on the block? I thought that was a little intense. No, bent a knee to this woman. What is it?
I mean, I don't mind anyone pledging their allegiance to Queen Kuzie, but Hope has just had a weird game all season. Like, I will say that. Like, I don't dislike Hope, but I'm just kind of like watching him like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, what's this strategy about with the I want people to think that I can't hack it in this game, so maybe I'll leave.
It's like,
and then they're gonna feel sorry for me. It's like, I don't know about that.
I can see trying to convince people you don't want to be here to a point, but he's been hammering it in so much and telling multiple, I just want to go home. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. They're gonna send you home. If you're complaining that much about wanting to go home, like, there comes a point where it goes from like, oh, he doesn't actually want to play, so maybe we can just keep him here and then we can like keep beating him and whatever. And then oh, we're torturing this man, let's just get him out of here. Like, you're really toeing a line of like, oh, they're just going to feel bad for you and send you home because you blatantly don't want to be here.
Yeah, it's really it's a strange it's a really strange thing, and it kind of does paint a different light. I don't really like how the conversation between like Zach and Ty and then Hope went regarding his use of the veto, like once he won it. But there's also a part of me that's also like, well, if you really don't care about your game, like.
Yeah, I think they had talked about it earlier too, and like this was supposed to be Hope being like, I won the veto and I want to take myself down because this is my moment, but then I don't mind leaving next week. Like that was his like whole explanation, but it's still like, what do you stop it? Like stop.
Right.
Or like, listen, the last thing that I want to do is support anything that Zach or Ty were thinking. But in this moment of the episode, I was like, well, yeah, of course they're going to be like, why are you using it on yourself? All you've done the whole game so far is say, I want to go home. How in your DR session are you going to be like, I can't believe they think I can't do this? You've been telling them you can't.
Right. Like, I still didn't care for their approach with him or how they were going about all this.
But I can see where they got that from.
Right. It's not so ridiculous to say, like, hey, why don't you just, like, stay up there? Like, that's
right.
It's not so crazy. You've been saying you don't want to be here.
Ty is just so disgusting, though. Like, the way that he was, like, Hope. Okay, listen. I can understand too that like emotions are high at all times for people in this game. So it's like we've seen people before that say they want to go home and then they don't go home. You know, they don't do it. They change their mind. And it's like, let the other person decide what is best for them and what they want to do. So if Hope wins this veto and he's telling you he wants to take himself down, this is his moment. He's very proud of his win. To then be like, well, what's the reason? What's the reason? Why are you going to take yourself down? Why would you? I don't think that's good for you. I don't think that's good for you. It's like, chill out, bro. like Ty, I gotta tell you, Zach is like obviously the louder of the two between him and Ty, but in a lot of ways, I think Ty it can be worse.
Yeah,
it's worse.
I think I agree.
The behavior,
I know I agree.
Yeah, like the behavior with Claudia too. Like,
what's so funny about it though is like, yes, he is worse, but he is also, and we saw it multiple times in this episode, he is such a beta. Like whatever Zach tells him to do, he's gonna be like, yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever you say. Yeah. Like he is worse in the sense that like everything that he does and says is like vile, but he also will just bend to the will of whatever louder person is yelling in his ear.
Yeah, but now if there is no louder person, like now what do you look like? You know?
Yeah, I'm scared to find out.
Yeah, because you're gross now.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't stand this thing with Claudia. Oh my God. Like, why does she like run? She was like crying over the fact that he might leave this game. It's like every time that like and it feels like every time they're in a room alone together and she tries to talk to him, he's so like just dismissive and like acts like she's like stupid or something. And like I really like I want to like Claudia. She was one of the first in there to be like, we have to get rid of these bros. Like she was seeing through the whole Zach thing, and it's like, but for some reason you run to Zach's right hand man. And you like want to have this showmance with him, and it's like
it's so hard too because we have heard her say about him that she can't trust him and she knows he's not giving her all of the information and she doesn't really fully want to align with him and all this stuff, but even still like there's some weird grip that he has on her and it kills me to see it.
Yeah
I agree. I thought it was interesting. Did you clock that, like, as Zach is basically saying, I'm getting out of this house, I'm getting out of here, blah, 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 blah. Come on, Ty. Every step of the way, it did not look like Ty wanted to go, right? Like, there was a hesitance in every single step, and there was a little bit of it that was like, I almost feel bad for you. Like, because you could tell he's just like, because he is such a beta, right? He's just like, oh God,
he's got no backbone when it comes to Zach.
I
Like,
don't know what to do. I don't really want to do this. Like, Ty, come on, let's go. And he's like, here he comes. And it's just like, it was like a really uncomfortable thing to watch, but like, it did tickle me a little bit.
I can't believe he even went in the diary room with him. But it was funny when they sat down and Ty was like, kind of like, so how does this process go?
How do we start this self-eviction process? And then, So ridiculous. And then I don't know, like I'm really just starting to think, man. I'm starting to think like maybe we're just taking this too seriously. Like is a game show.
That was what got me.
This is
that
ridiculous.
was the moment that got me.
Yeah.
Like it's a game show.
Yeah, they were both in there talking about this, and that was my only thought was like, this might be the dumbest thing I've ever seen in competitive reality TV.
Wild.
And
like they just look like such fools.
Yes.
And like the fact that they were calling everyone else clowns. It's like, you are the biggest clowns ever.
My God.
Look at the two of you. And you
the
know
lack
that the half
of
the time.
self-awareness.
Yeah, the half the time that he's pacing back and forth is not him thinking about whether or not he wants to go back into the game. It's like, how do I spin this to save some face?
Yeah, how do I save my perception right now? Because I'm being an idiot.
Yes. Yeah. A moron. I can't wait to see how he cleans this one up.
Yeah. Yeah. And as much as I would have loved to see them both leave and have the best surprise double eviction of all time.
Oh, it would have been so sweet.
Like, there is a part of me that's very happy that, like, after all that, Zach trying to manipulate his way through this game and being just so awful and disgusting to everybody, he was still, at the end of it, even though he was walking out of the game, self-evicting, he was still trying to manipulate somebody else to follow along with him. And what happened? He walked out all by himself. Poor
and
Zach.
You could see even, like, it almost looked like, I genuinely couldn't tell if he was, like, about to start crying or if he was just, like, nervous. But you could see, like, that Zach was like, if you don't want to come, it's okay. And he started getting, like, almost, it looked like he was getting choked up. And I was like, you are so embarrassed that you're going to do this by yourself. And I'm having a great time watching it happen.
That's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I got a question for you. Like, as like, old time, Big Brother fans, we've watched many a season where somebody can have like a really rough go in the beginning and really rally back. Maybe not necessarily to win the entire thing, but sometimes these early blunders, these big hot messes get forgotten, later on. Do we see that being possible for Mr. Ty? Do we forget this?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I mean, we or them is the question, because I'm not going to forget anything.
I don't know. Hi, Justin. Hello, welcome. Says, I don't know who's at fault. Hope had the letter. He told Zach. Did Zach and Ty know what the letter said? I don't know. I feel like
I think Zach did.
Zach said in the DR, because production asked him what it said, and he was like, "Oh, something like I love you, and you're doing a great job, and what." And like just right. He said, just like the general love letter, no game information.
Yeah,
and Ty was definitely, from what I'm seeing, it looks like Ty was in possession of the note. Because did you see that from I think it was the last episode where they had that extended hand grab.
We saw it again in this one, yeah.
Right. Like that clearly Ty had the note there, which again, that means that Ty at some point in the house, with all these cameras, opened this note up and read it.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't just about
they had a conversation about it.
Other people reading it.
Because like Zach didn't find out about it in this moment. Dan found out about it in this moment. So Hope found it, passed it to Ty. Ty had it. Then Ty told Zach about it. And it wasn't found out about until they told Dan about it in this episode. That's a lot of time that someone is supposedly always watching and no one saw this happen.
Yeah. Yikes. So that's that.
So stupid.
Can we talk about the Brita Power of Veto competition? Because I love a sponsored comp and we have to go over it. Brita sponsored this one and we loved it. Water was the name of the game because every drop counts. First, you had to throw the balls right into the cylinder, right? That was step one. And then once you get X amount of balls in there, then it freed up the right to move the thing around and the water would shoot into the cylinder, right? Into like a Brita pitcher.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then the pitcher of water, you had to run over and then bring that down and pour that into another thing until the ball came up to the water and you got the ball out. Woof, God.
There were so many components to it.
Yes, there's always just so many steps in these competitions. They're like double American ones.
Yeah.
But aesthetically, this was really fun to look at. You know, we had water splashing all around. Like there was water on the floor. So every time we ran to and fro, there's water splashing and there's water just shooting out from everywhere. Water was the name of the game. And it was really fun to see. Didn't you love it?
It was a fun one.
It was a fun one. I'll give you that.
Thanks a lot. Definitely better than the Philips Sonic Hair veto.
That one was bad.
Yeah, I mean, I again enjoy a themed comp.
Sure.
But I didn't believe that the toothbrush was really knocking and rocking. So no, this one was fun. 3 cheers for Britta.
Yeah, and Hope finally got his win. Finally got the win that he was searching for. God. So okay, there's something else that I want to talk about though with all the craziness.
Okay, all right. Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
So Daniel.
Gina's favorite.
I rescind. Gina's winner. I'm very disappointed.
What the hell is Daniel doing?
We don't know. I think maybe. No, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Maybe he just does have a nice side. Maybe he does. Maybe just in a game environment, maybe Zach is just a jerk. You know, we don't have the pleasure of feeds. We're not really seeing what we're used to seeing.
Yeah. I just feel like as a super fan, as somebody who's supposed to come in here and know how to play this game, why are you like linking up with the one person or you know, Zach, who is, you know, obviously super close with Ty? Like, why are you linking yourself to the worst person?
The villain of the house, yeah.
Especially when you have such a great option of working with all the women and working with their alliance. Like you positioned yourself really well there.
It's not even just about working with the quote unquote villain of the house. It's even like whether he self-evicted or not, Zach was going to be like, he was the target. He was going to get voted out. So why are you riding so hard for someone who's leaving pre-jury, who like their vote doesn't matter later on? You don't have to worry about pissing them off. They're leaving pre-jury and pissing off the rest of the house that is going to go potentially to jury and who you're going to have to make a case with later. Why are you turning on those people for someone that no matter what happens is leaving this week?
Right.
I don't get it. Well, at least Daniel didn't have to vote out his best bud Zach because he left on his own. Which raises the question.
It raises the question of what does this now mean for his relationship with Kuzie? Because it didn't really get to be tested, right? She didn't really now get to see where he would have stood. So now what? If I were her, I don't move forward like as if like now we trust you. Yeah, I'd be nervous.
After the whole blow up, in this moment, Kuzie became one of my favorites like of all time when she was just going in on Zach and shut him up and was like, why didn't you come forward with this immediately? And he literally had no answer. It was like the first time that someone got him to shut up.
It was so beautiful to see him have nothing to say. It was so good.
It was also nice to see, I got to tell you, Anika shot up for me this week.
Yep.
I am so happy she came up. I was going to wait until the rankings, but yeah, she shot up for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are not the judge. That alone just shot her straight to the top.
Oh my God.
Right. And when the two of them were going in on Zach, and then Daniel tries to butt in, like, all right, everybody, let's calm down. And Kuzie's just like, shut up, Daniel. Get out of here, Daniel. Oh, what a moment. What a moment.
And we thought she was just like over here not really making waves. Anika who? Didn't we say that? Like, I don't even know who she is. Well, we know who she is now. We know who she is.
I gotta tell you, I honestly, I did not like Anika when the game first started.
Oh,
because she was walking around.
No opinion either way.
Well, what I didn't like was that she started targeting John Michael right away. And like one of the reasons that she gave for wanting to target John Michael was because she was calling him toxic. She had like a list of people, like 4 people that she like labeled as toxic that she wanted out of the house. And John Michael was the top of the list. And I was like, what has John Michael done to be toxic towards you? But I also felt like in that first week, especially, Anika had no idea what was going on.
Right.
So,
that's why like, she just totally flew under the radar for me. I had no positive or negative feelings. I was just like, who is that? Like, who are you?
She's seen the light now. She's with
Oh,
Kuzie now.
yes.
You
Oh,
know,
yes.
like, so,
Oh,
you
yes.
know, we can welcome Anika in to Kuzie's kingdom.
Oh man. Now, you know what's funny? Actually, I think Taryn and them were talking about this on Rob as a podcast tonight. They were mentioning that POV comp that Zach won, he won $5,000 in it.
Right.
But since he's walked out of the game now, I think that gets forfeited.
I don't know. I saw people talking about this on Twitter. I think Zach had gone live somewhere and said that he still has it, but I mean, that's also coming from Zach. So,
right. Yeah.
I saw that he was going live with Bruno.
who
like BBCAN, I think 3.
I don't know the earlier seasons.
Yeah, I think he goes live with some of these people sometimes. And I know, or just himself. And I saw that he was going live with him, so maybe that's where it was. Well,
I think if you walk from the game, you should have to forfeit that, and then like it goes into the pot. So now it's $105,000 to whoever wins, or whoever came in second place in that POV gets it or something. You know, like
bonus for you.
I don't want Zach to get anything. I don't want him to get anything.
At least we got what we wanted, though. It wasn't as satisfying, but it was, though. It was just satisfying in a different way. This was a hoot.
It was satisfying because he like embarrassed himself. He was just like walking around whining and crying and throwing a shit fit. It's like, you are a child, my guy.
Was all of this worth not getting our digital dilly-dallies?
No.
Oh.
No.
I would have loved live feeds this week.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, no. Actual feeds is what I would have liked.
Right.
I would have definitely felt cheated if there were dailies. I mean, I still feel cheated in this way, but like I definitely feel like you would have really left something out. Like,
well, I almost feel like in the dailies they wouldn't have given us any of this. You know, like I almost feel like they would have given us like, oh, something happened, but they wouldn't tell us what.
Hope came in second, so Zach would have gave Hope $5,000.
Hell yeah.
That makes it even better.
And that was from that Philips Sonicare.
It would have been so good.
That would have been amazing. Yeah. That's so perfect.
Right? Oh
yeah.
God.
So what did you think? Oh, I'm glad that we kind of circled back to Hope. So what did you think of the penalty issued to him for having this letter that he did not report, to production? They issued him a null vote this week, which, well, I guess that's now for the upcoming week. What now?
I bet he still has to lose a vote. That's my guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be lose a vote in the next eviction, and then not have the chance to play for the next HOH. But that would have been the vote for this eviction. So I wonder if that now means
I feel like it'll probably carry over.
I think that would be the most fair. What did you think of this penalty? And the rest of the house got to get letters from home as a result.
Yeah,
I thought it was totally fair.
I thought it was very.
I just wish there was also a penalty issued to the people who are holding on to the information until it was useful to them.
Right. I agree. Yeah. I do think it carries over, Hope losing his vote, because I almost think of it as like a Survivor thing where it's like, oh, if you lose your vote at your next tribal. It's like, well, if you don't go to tribal for 3 episodes, it's that next one you go to. So I feel like this wasn't really an eviction tonight, in BBCAN. So it's like the next eviction that actually does occur.
Yeah, if people don't keep, makes sense to me.
Yeah, if people don't keep walking out of the game, the next eviction we get, he'll lose a vote. But I thought this might have been one of the only things production's done right so far.
Yeah.
I thought it was totally fair. The person that, whether it was knowingly or not, he still has a note from home, didn't report it to production right away. So there's a penalty in place, and everyone else gets a little bonus now of getting a letter, just like Hope did.
Yeah, I thought it was very nice. And you really can't expel him. First of all, you can't expel him because we can't keep losing all these people to the game, right? We need some people to make jury. But you also can't really do that because, again, you have to, this came in after he moved in. So that's partially your fault. You have to own that a little bit.
But also, like,
yeah, you have to own that.
He wasn't really cheating because he didn't get any game information. It was just a, hey, great job.
But like, you also should have caught that. This is the, I mean, like, you should be checking these things. I mean, if it's a rule breaker, then like What do you just let packages just come
'Cause
in?
didn't this also happen? It was Frenchie. Frenchie smuggled in a note in one of his socks during his season 2, and that was a whole big thing. And he had to he got a I think he got a penalty vote or something.
I read this on Twitter or something, but I didn't know about any of that when it happened.
I don't remember.
I don't
Oh
remember.
no. Oh, I definitely remember that being a talking point.
I don't remember that at all.
I have no memory of it.
I don't remember what the penalty ended up being for it, but I absolutely remember it happening.
I believe you.
It feels lazy on production's part. Like it's not like there's 100 people in there. There's 16 people in there. What do they have? 2 to 3 suitcases each. Get a couple of people to look through everything.
Especially if they're being given it after they have already moved into the house, there absolutely is a potential to be fed information of what's happening from people who are watching live feeds. How are you not doing a better job of combing through to make sure that nobody's giving out information?
Right. Especially,
that's why, like,
even in this though, I don't even know what information would have been given if it was the day after move-in. What could have been given to you when there is no feeds?
But even still, well, yeah, there's that. But also,
all
it's
we
like,
had was a dally.
This was a big dally. This was a big thing. Like, there's a reason why the HOH letters are so like vague and sanitized now, because there was that whole evil dick situation. Like, it's so wild how much they pick and choose what to like be, what to focus in on. Yeah, it's so strange.
I don't know that he should have been expelled for this, though. I thought this penalty was fair enough.
Yeah,
it was production's totally bad. Fair.
Yeah,
Hope didn't know he was bringing something in.
Right. You gave him the package. He was in the house.
Mm-hmm.
This is the type of thing that like I could see happening. Somebody that is not super familiar with Big Brother, but is a family member of a house guest that's going in, and they're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna put a little note of encouragement in here." It's like writing a note when you send your kid off to school and you put it in their school lunch. Have a great day. It's like a harmless thing. Right.
That's wild.
So Justin was asking here, did he know or did he not know? And and we have to take people at their word here, I guess. We have no choice other than that, because we don't have any other information. But when production called Hope into the diary room, they asked him about it. And he said that when he was going through his suitcase, he took out his socks. And upon taking out the socks, he discovered this note wrapped inside one of his socks. So from his explanation, it sounds like he had no idea this was in there. He opened his suitcase, was just trying to unpack, and then found this thing. Now he still is at fault for not coming forward with it immediately, and it's stupid if you do find that. I don't know why you would share it with anybody, ally or not.
Right.
Because then you're just setting yourself up to be put. At the end of the day, you find something like this, you have to report it. That's the right thing to do.
I know that's what. Like, I felt bad because he was
why would you spread it around to other people who could then report you? Like,
because he was like, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to get in trouble. So you showed it to Ty and Zach.
Right.
Like, if you didn't want to get in trouble, just like put it back in your sock and don't open that pair of socks for the rest of the game. Like,
yeah.
Like they shared it with the two most toxic and like unhinged people in there. I will say I did actually like the fact that so many people like came to his defense and didn't just jump on the bandwagon of like, you got the note, get out of here. Like, it was only Zach and Ty who were so desperate to try to like maintain control over all these people and try to, continue to manipulate them. It's like only the two of them were like, it's cheating. You got to go. You got to go. Well, you guys have known about this. Why didn't you report it?
Especially once people started seeing like what the note actually said, they were like, where did he cheat? How is he cheating? How is that useful to the game in any way?
Yeah, literally the entire rest of the house said this was a very petty move. Like, you look ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a low blow.
Very low.
And then even still, like, Zach was like, well, the whole problem is because you know how much a letter from home would mean to you if you were isolated, and now he has one and nobody else gets one. So production said, okay, now everybody else gets one. And he was like, no, not like that. Like,
yeah, it's like everybody gets one. Everybody else gets to keep their vote, but Hope doesn't. And also on top of that, Hope can't even be HOH next week. So it's like, and then to the fact that they were still saying after the fact, Ty and Zach being like, oh, well, it's still not good enough. It's almost even worse. It's like, how is it worse? The whole like playing field is leveled. Everybody has a note now, and
Yep.
Hope is the only one that can't vote or be HOH.
Right.
Everyone else has that advantage over him still.
Yep.
Zach is just pissed because in that moment he's on the block, and he
Yep.
knows that everybody wants to send him home. So
Because the only reason that he let this slip in the first place is because he wanted the eviction to be canceled.
yeah,
Okay, I mean, I do have to say, I think there is an argument to be made, okay, for the emotion of this situation, for Zach to be correct a little bit in that, saying that now Hope does kind of come out the hero here, because you did get these letters from home. That's really how all this ended. So regardless of the fact if he gets to win HOH or not, he's definitely not in danger this week. There's absolutely no way, because now we do have an emotional something, and that could carry into something else that you can now play into something. It does give him a slight advantage, whether we can really acknowledge it. It's not really something tangible, but like if you were playing this game and that is what all of this drama got you, at the end of it you're like,
but
I'm gonna keep you safe for a little bit because that cool thing kind of came from it, so you're all right with me.
It still doesn't matter though, because this was a self-inflicted wound by Zach and Ty. None of this would have happened if they weren't the ones that decided to bring this up.
Right, you're absolutely right. But as far as just the comment of saying, "Oh, it's almost worse now," well, kind of.
It is, but also at your hands.
So I don't feel bad about it. Exactly. It is your fault. It is worse though. That's all. I just wanted to just make sure that wasn't totally brushed upon, because there is some truth in there. But again, he wouldn't have that advantage if you weren't being so petty.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it just all comes back to literally just God, I can't stand whether it's a conversation with Claudia or this whole thing with Hope. And Zach really is awful, but Ty, I feel is at a lot of the conversations that I think have been frustrating me the most lately is when Claudia is trying to talk to her showmance and try to strategize, and she's saying, well, is this gonna happen? What do you think about this? And he's just like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. And then going to Hope being like, what are you gonna do with the veto? And he's like, well, I'm on the block and I won the veto, so I'm gonna take myself down. And he's like, well, I don't think that's a good idea. It's like, God, this is just such everything that you do is so fucking annoying.
Why don't you open your mouth when you speak? He talks has a mouthful of marbles. He's scared they're gonna fall out. I can't stand listening to him at all. I just hope and pray that he does not get HOH, because I cannot imagine the DRs with this man that we're going to have to be subjected to, nor do we even want him guaranteed an additional week. He's got to go. This has to be the end. I cannot, because I don't even know how he pivots from this. How do you come back from this? You look like such a moron. And who's going to want to play alongside you? What does Dan S do? What does Daniel do? I don't know what Daniel does. I think Daniel might have a problem, because again, if I was Kuzie, I wouldn't be so keen on just bringing him
right. You're not
back
getting out of this just because you didn't have to vote at all.
Right, because let's not forget how very much you went back and forth. I don't really like that. That doesn't really sit well with me. And now, of course, you're going to be on my side because you have no choice. But that still doesn't really make me feel good.
Yeah.
So even if I do work with you, you're definitely now on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But Dan S, his alliance is now blown. It was really supposed to be him, Zach and Ty. Zach walks, Ty looks like an idiot, and here's Dan S talking about, hey,
it would really just be the worst thing ever if Ty somehow won HOH. That really would be the worst way to start a new week. Why would you put that
out into the universe?
Well, I wasn't even the first one that brought it up. I feel like I'm actually I'm trying to sit here now and just think about numbers, right? And where everybody sits in the house. And I'm thinking to myself, all right. And I'm almost losing track because 3 people have walked, right? It was Amal, Vanessa, and now Zach. John Michael, and Rob have been evicted. So there's 5 people out, 11 people still in, right? So like, let's just say.
Wait, so does that mean that everybody in now has made it to jury? Because usually the first 5 out are pre-jury.
Who knows? Because this is a mess.
No, what? No,
First
wait,
5
maybe.
First 5 is pre-jury.
Maybe.
You just
I don't know.
made jury.
That's
I also
wild.
worry about. I also do worry about what this means for like possible double evictions that were planned and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, canceled.
But like thinking about some of the numbers, like I feel like it is interesting to sort of go over some of these scenarios, right? Because like, let's say next week Hope doesn't have a vote, and let's say, you know, you have, let's just say Ty, Dan S are together still. Daniel, you know, for whatever, you know, maybe he's on the outs with Kuzie, so he decides I'll latch on to Ty, Dan, and Daniel, and then I feel like, what if Claudia decides, all right, I'm going to stick with my man? All of a sudden, she was leading the charge for the, you know, for the women's alliance to get the bros out. But what if she continues to stick with Ty? That's 4 people, right? And then if like Hope loses a vote, like if one of them was to get power, is it possible that they could actually like make a move next week if they like are able to get? I hate it also, but like I feel like you got to think about some of these scenarios. Like, what if Ty or Dan S wins HOH and they've got a little group of 4 on their side? That would leave 7 on the other side, but Hope doesn't have a vote, so that's 6. You only need one other person to make it a split vote then, right?
Yeah,
like potentially.
It's not impossible. It is not impossible.
Which is a horrifying thought.
Yeah.
I would like to see like you know, honestly, Renee has been on the block so many times already. I would love to see Renee get an HOH.
Please.
I just don't want to hear about her bootay anymore.
In the HOH suite.
No, honestly, it was one of those things.
With the bootay, I'm done.
Honestly, I've warmed up to it. I've warmed up to her bootay.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love Renee.
There was a time. Yeah, there was a time that I rolled my eyes whenever she talked about her bootay, and now it just makes me giggle.
I can't do it.
Yeah,
I enjoy her, but if I have to hear her say bootay one more time,
no, she's great.
I hope it continues. I think this might have been the first episode that she didn't say bootay.
I think it
because
was.
of all the chaos. I was a little disappointed to not get it.
Been a little too serious. Yeah. So, John, who was your favorite of the week?
Kuzie.
I was gonna say, I feel like we're all gonna have the same favorite of the week.
Absolutely. We'll just lock in everybody's favorite was Kuzie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
no hesitation.
Yeah, I feel like we're all gonna be pretty on board with second too.
Are we? I don't know. I might go against the grain.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know. Who would you say? Who's your number 2?
I'm going the second most vocal person on our side in that fight. Anika is my number 2 this week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is my number 2.
Yeah, that's what I said. We're all on the same page.
I wasn't sure. I definitely thought that could, that wasn't going to be enough. Because sometimes John really gets on us for not voting in favor of gameplay. And these are really not gameplay related at all. Kuzie's is, except
I think you could argue Anika also, though.
I would like to have a brief tangent regarding Kuzie's gameplay this week, because she really thought that like getting Santina out was like a really big deal. And like, I understand that it's like a number for Zach and Ty, but is it? It's a flip-floppy number at best, right? And like, wouldn't the bigger move have been Ty or Zach all along? Like, I don't think that Santina was going to be really like rocking this house.
I can agree with that.
Carrying on in the library, talking my presence will be felt. Really? By Santina's exit?
Right. And I know you had tweeted about this week, Kyle, and I totally agreed with you because like, I feel like there was a point where like Santina could have been a big move, I think, but like that time has passed. I feel like now she's in the position of like the girls aren't really working with her. She has no interest really in working with Ty or Zach anymore. She was so happy when Zach got put up next to her. Like, what is Santina now? Like, and it's
although let's talk about that actually now. Can we talk about that? That's interesting because I think that has now changed. Because now that Vanessa's gone and Zach walked, and now Hope has no vote. So, my, who's voting this upcoming week? You know, all of a sudden, there's not a lot of people left.
Right.
You know,
and if you're
whoever
100%
on the block.
Right. And then,
vote.
you know, Santina's vote could be crucial if Ty is up there, because what is Claudia going to want to vote Ty out? Even as disgusting as he's been towards her, is she going to cast that vote,
Right.
you know, to evict Ty? Like,
all
that's,
of a sudden,
you know, the other,
maybe Santina's not so throwaway.
The Kuzie side of the house might have to rely on Santina's vote to get Ty out if it gets to that point. Who knows?
Isn't that interesting? And that does also make me say, you know, thumbs up to Kuzie for the way that she was able to spin this week, because she never told Santina really that she was the target. Right. So now once Zach went up, she was able to lean into, because she said that she would. So like, oh, this was always my plan. I didn't want to tell you because I wasn't really sure that you wouldn't tell Zach. She still set up to lean into that. So as we go into this week, if Santina's vote is that crucial, we might be able to count on it. We might be able to pull her in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Santina's not useless. Wow. Interesting. Does that get her on anybody's number 3? Miss Santina?
No.
Santina, no.
Santina for 3rd. I did the best I could. Sorry, girl.
She's got more work to do to crack the top 3.
Yeah.
Santina for 3rd.
She's still responsible.
Before it got off the ground. Sorry, girl.
She is still responsible for sending out our one of our winner picks in John Michael by listening to Zach and Ty, and then immediately now every day since then saying, I can't trust them. They just try to control me. It's like, well,
yeah, and I gotta say that relationship too. Oh yeah, yuck. That Ty and Santina conversation that happened in the pantry there, I hated that.
Yeah,
I hated
refresh
that
my
very
memory.
much.
Which one?
Yeah, I do, because I don't even remember how the conversation went like verbatim. It was Ty just basically saying like, "Oh, you're gonna just basically vote however we say." I don't know. It was just very I don't know. It just came off very predatory, like very
Oh yeah. Because Santina's talking about like, you know, like, oh, like what am I gonna?
Long ago, but
yeah,
it was this week.
It's just like whenever anybody in the house would say anything that they wanted to do that didn't completely follow Ty and Zach's plan, they'd be like, well, that's not happening. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to. And just like this really gross, they're just so slimy and disgusting.
What was getting me a lot too was like, anytime that somebody would like try to explain to Ty, like, well, you're coming across as like very intimidating. He'd be like, what do you mean? He like immediately square up to them and get in their face and like try to intimidate them out of saying that he's intimidating. And it's like,
that was even the fight that he had with like Kuzie outside.
He did it with like 4 people in this episode.
He did it. He did it with Hope too. I think Zach went to Ty and was like, "Oh, you know, people are saying that you're trying to intimidate Hope," and then Ty would immediately walk in, chest pumped out, like, "You think I'm intimidating you? Why do you think I'm intimidating you?" And it's like because you're trying. That's what you're trying to do.
Because you're trying to be intimidating.
Like get this guy.
It's like you're not very good at it, but like. But it's clearly what you're trying to do by threatening somebody to not use the veto that they won to take themselves off the block so that they make sure that they stay in the game. Like,
so gross.
You are like whoever cast Zach and Ty needs to find a new job.
We gotta have a conversation.
My God.
Well, who's your number 3?
I'm going Renee and her bootay.
Renee.
Number 3.
I don't know, man.
3 is always my problem child.
You know who I'm starting to warm up to though a bit?
Who's that?
He's kind of boring, but he's not problematic, and he seems like a nice guy. Is Jonathan? I could see him cracking my top 3 at some point. Maybe if he gets some power.
Really?
Yeah, if he gets some power,
like a nice
maybe
man.
makes if he makes a move. He was in that Bros Alliance to start, so it kind of felt like you know I feel like I can't really root for Jonathan, but like I thought he actually had a nice relationship with Rob. I feel like he seems like a pretty nice guy, right? Canada voted for him, right?
He does seem like a good dude. Yeah.
Right. And I would be interested to see what he would do. Like I said, he's not the most exciting guy in the house, but he doesn't seem like problematic or anything. And I feel like I'd like to see what he would do if he got a little bit of power, maybe,
All right.
But he isn't in my top 3 yet. For me this week, it's Kuzie, Anika, and Renee are my top 3.
I'm going to second that. I'm going to say Renee also. She did give me a moment this week that I did laugh at. It was about Vanessa. I tweeted about this. It was just the way she said, "Do not trust Vanessa for one hot second." She lied to me for 5 times already. This is like the way it's just the way that she said it.
I will say,
made me laugh a lot.
despite her bootay, I have been warming up to Renee a lot lately.
Yeah, good enough for number 3. Renee
I
for
say
third.
So. Renee a lot of people pissed me off this week, so it's slim pickings.
A Snapchat jackpot.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Is this the first time we're all totally on the same page?
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of which, we also have to have a conversation about Australian Survivor real quick about rankings. Somebody asked on Twitter, we never gave final rankings.
Oh.
I didn't think anybody would give a damn. So, but that's for later. But yeah, so did anybody catch the next on for how this is supposed to be going? I immediately spilled into Twitter at the end of this episode.
Yeah, I had kind of checked out by the end, yeah.
Yeah, something about the manor, and there's something about like just secrets, and then I saw money.
It looked very much like the round table that like we would get in like Traders, in the Traders. You could tell they really leaned into this theme this season.
It almost kind of, I thought, I don't know if like I saw this on Twitter, but like it kind of seems like perhaps they won't know who is in power? ? Like, you know what I mean? Like one of those like no one really knows who the HOH is, that just nominations happen and like.
You know, it would be great if Canada was the HOH. Give Canada the power. We'll make sure Ty goes home. Well, we're not even Canadian, but
we have no say in this.
We're all from Long Island, New York.
We've got no
Canadian people.
We have say.
Canadian people.
If you don't think I won't be using the VPN to be voting, I vote all the time for the Be Direct eviction protection insurance.
Do you? I have never once voted.
I love voting. Oh no, I am a full blown participant. Okay, I am fully invested. Woo! BBCAN.
Let the people let the people send Ty out to meet his buddy Zach. We'll set up the reunion for them. You know,
the voting public.
Yeah. Now I actually have another question for you guys. Now that I'm thinking about this, because I didn't really. It feels so early in the game to be thinking about jury, right? But Gina, you brought up that 5 people are out, which would mean
be time.
It could be.
Which would mean, right? Because you would think, right? That means that 8 people will be evicted, which would leave 3 for finale night if there's 11 people left, and then the last person out makes up the 9th person of the jury. What the hell would they have done if Ty walked with Zach tonight? That would have left,
great question.
that would have left 10 people in the game with no jury members yet.
Canadian vote.
Yeah, it would have been that. Yeah, Canada gets a vote.
Oh wait, Jack is saying Jake. Yeah, Jake is saying here. Jake saying in Canada, jury starts at top 9, 7-member jury.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. So we still would have been okay. All right. Thank you, Jake. Thank you.
There we go.
All right.
Wow. But yeah, that happened once in America, and then America got one.
Yeah.
But now if one happens again, I don't know what happens after that.
We just end up with like a 5-person jury because so many people end up walking.
It kills me because then you have people like John Michael and like Rob and like people who never even made it on the season that would like kill to be in the show, and everyone's like, goodbye.
Yeah.
You know?
And like that's okay. That honestly really pisses me off because it was Zach that got into the ear of Santina to send John Michael out, and John Michael leaves. Then he manipulated people into sending Rob out, and then Zach just walks. It's like, so these 2 people were victims of the douchebaggery of Zach and Ty, and now Zach just walks anyway. It's like
it's also like, at the heels of our previous US Big Brother season, it just needs to be said. Like, I think about Taylor, and I think about what she went through that entire season to make it to the end, and just the fact that like Zach didn't get his way once time and was so horribly affected by it that he couldn't possibly stand another day in the house. Like, are you kidding? People have had it so hard in this game and you one time didn't get your way and you can't stand it. This is someone who's literally never been told no a day in his life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think of how small of a man you have to just be like, I know I'm leaving. My plan to try to get somebody expelled from the game didn't work, and I don't have the votes. So I'm just going to leave. I'm not even going to let people vote me out. I'm just going to leave.
Fragile that he couldn't even handle the fact that he would have been voted out. So fragile.
Do you think that he actually would have finished that march to the DR to self-evict if Ty didn't follow behind? If that very first time he was like, come on, Ty, come on, girl. And then nothing happened. And he was like, nah,
I don't know.
I'm not going to quit. Like, he'd be like, oh.
I feel like because Ty wasn't as vocal about it. He was just kind of like going along with whatever Zach said. But Zach had so many times been like, nope, 1,000%, I'm leaving. I have to leave. I've said it already. I got to go. And he said it like 5 times just in the episode from what we saw. He can't back down on that, you know.
But
like,
I feel like
at that point,
saying that to hype himself up. Like that's how I.
Yeah, but at that point, I feel like
I have to.
But it's almost more embarrassing. It's like more of a hit to his ego then, if he then doesn't do it. Like you didn't even have the balls to actually do it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like at that point, because he had blown it up so much, it was like, well, shit. I mean, I made this bet. I got to lie in it now.
So ridiculous. The whole thing is so ridiculous.
Well, yeah, because if you really want me here, I wouldn't deprive you of letting me stay if you wanted to vote me to stay, you know?
So ridiculous. We won't miss you. We won't miss you.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Oh, God. I don't even know what to say. I feel like I had another thought and it's gone because in my brain, I'm just like, I can't believe, like if Zach was like talking about, he's an entrepreneur and he's such a great businessman. And I'm like, if I was watching this person on TV and then they walked into my office to try to do business with me, I'd be like, all right, get out.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, get out.
Ridiculous. Lame. He's a startup SVP.
Yeah.
Good luck to
You're
him.
right, Dan. You're right, Dan. It's a low blow.
Totally a low blow. Well, anything else for the benefit of the community?
Oh man,
that's all I got.
I think that's all. I'm just excited to see who gets the next HOH. I would like to see like a Jonathan get it. I'd love to see a Renee. I think I want to see Renee get the next one. But if like somebody like Jonathan won, I'd be cool with that. I feel like Anika winning, because I know obviously Kuzie can't win the next one. She's the outgoing HOH. But I feel like if Anika won, she would want to work very closely with Kuzie, because Anika has been very vocal about being like, I'm not really a game player. And that was another reason that she wanted to get John Michael out too, is that she felt like John Michael was like very good at the game and like was a very smart game player. So she wanted to get him out. And I feel like I'd like to see Anika and Kuzie kind of like maintain control for another week in the house. Dan, give it to Ty. Watch chaos unfold. Like
I can't handle it.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
As much as I love chaos, I hate Ty way more.
Yeah, I don't think this is the kind of chaos I can stomach.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Please, God, no. I feel like we're speaking about it too much. It's making me nervous.
I know. I'm getting stressed out.
I guess we'll find that out when. Hopefully tomorrow. In tomorrow's digital dilly dally.
Well, are we back to getting them now, or were they just canceled for the remainder of this week?
Wait, is this true, or is this like a haha? Jake says next week's whodunit theme is 3 house guests will be selected as traitors and must murder 1 house guest.
That can't be real. That can't be real.
that would actually be really funny.
I would love it, but there's no way that's real.
I think Jake might be playing an April Fool's joke.
That's a haha.
Okay. Well, see, I don't get to read it. It's very nerve-wracking. You know, sure. I'm not really reading it before I put it on the screen. So, you know,
I think Jake
a lot of trust in our friends here. A lot of
Watch
trust.
what I say now.
I know, scary stuff. Scary. No, it was a lie. It was a lie.
Damn, that's you're 2 for 2, Kyle, on seeing April Fool's pranks on social media today.
Although that's not really fair, because the first April Fool's prank was really just being told to me, so I just shared it. because he still, when he got home, he still didn't know that was a prank. All right, so Peacock and Duolingo.
I don't know, man. Had you watched the video though? Because when the second I watched it, I said, "Oh, this is a haha."
I'm watching it. I was like, "What
This
is
is
this?"
a haha.
I'm like, this looks very stupid. But I was also like, well,
it literally looked like the Duolingo bird killed somebody and pushed them off a balcony. At no point did you say this might not be real.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, well, maybe this is just one of those like funny things, like that they're all very, it's like one of those tongue in cheek. We're all aware that we're doing a silly thing. Like, I was like, I don't know. I'll tune in and see what's going on. No, I didn't think anything of it.
Oh my gosh.
So Love Language is not a real reality TV show coming soon.
Bummer.
It is a bummer. I was going to tune in. I was like,
it's exactly the garbage I would have lived for.
Yeah, I was like, Peacock is really stepping it up with their reality TV. I was like, they're really churning out the content. I was like, way to go, Peacock.
Although I have to say, like, the fact that Gina is so excited about the possibility of Love Language being real, but won't give All Star Shore a cast, like a chance, is like kind of like disappointing. Like, oh, I would live for Love Language, but All Star Shore is a no. Come on.
Jake has a question here. What season has the worst first 4 weeks? Season 8 or this?
I cannot speak on that, so that's a Kyle question.
Yeah, I actually just watched season 8 like 2 weeks ago. So I had a shut-in weekend. I said I'll watch the canceled season. I think 8 was worse. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, I feel like we had gone a very, very long time without actually seeing any gameplay whatsoever. At least in this, there was some. It wasn't very good. But like there was things to comment about, but Zach controlling the house and stuff. I feel like that whole season was a hot mess. 8 was messier, especially now knowing that like it wasn't ever to go anywhere. It was just going to stop anyway. What a shame, because the game did have good bones. I still say people should watch it.
I don't know why. I just love when you say that. It had good bones.
It had good bones. Like it was, it really had good chops. It was built on something. It had good bones. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting relationships that were breaking down and getting built up. Like it was going to go somewhere. It's too bad. It's too bad. Justice for season 8.
Man. Bones.
Yeah. But so that's that. Is that all we got?
I think so.
Question? No, there's no question, right? How did we get here? Oh no, it's getting late. So Monday is Survivor 44, right? Finally. I'm catching up with that.
Yeah, I gotta catch up.
And then next Thursday, we're here for Big Brother Canada. That's it. We're out of here.
Both times, both at 9:30 p.m., right? Eastern?
Oh, yes. 9:30. That's our time. 9:30, always at 9:30. And then the Monday after that, we're finally doing the challenge, right? We're catching up with the challenge.
Oh my God, I have not watched one single episode of that yet.
I have watched a couple.
I'm caught up until this week. I had to just watch Survivor 44 and the challenge from last night. But other than that, I'm all caught up. Yeah.
Yeah. The first 3 are weird.
At the challenge?
Yeah.
First 3.
Right. And that sounds discouraging. But John, you said something about it the other night. There's like one episode that's like weird. There's like no elimination. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
we don't. Very long. I don't know. It's strange.
There's like episode. There's an episode where we don't get an elimination at the end of it. But we also don't get that same elimination until like halfway through the next episode. Like, it's very weird. It's very weird.
Like, because you're sitting there and you're watching it like, wait a minute. What's going on? Like, what episode am I on? Like, because you realize you're just watching a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? Yeah, it's really strange. Dan wants to know about Survivor. How many episodes of 44? We are just catching up. We're just catching up because we have not talked about it.
Yeah.
So it would be what, 6? 5?
I think
6?
5. I think 5. I think so. When we talk about it on Monday, I think we'll be covering the first 5 episodes. We're coming in late to the party, but it's because we just finished Australian Survivor and we've been talking about BBCAN. Yeah. So it's been a little busy. So, but I think we'll be doing every other week then, starting this Monday, right? So
yeah, but just gonna catch up, let you know what we're thinking. Let you know what you think of this whole the idol twist with the birdcage and such. Catch ourselves up. Talk about Claire for sure. All right, because my goodness gracious. Yeah. Jake is asking what I think is a ridiculous question. Wants to know if we want to see Zach return for a heroes versus villains season. I don't want to see this man return for any reason.
Tomato.
Absolutely not. No. Dan wants to see him in a BBCAN Legends season. I say absolutely not.
No.
I think that's another April Fool's.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Strat Chat will be out of production when that happens. Okay.
Two days early for April Fool's Day.
Dan says he heard about the first episode of 44 and didn't want to watch it. What's the problem with the first episode? The first episode was a hoot and a half.
Was it because of the medical thing?
That was yucky with Mr. Man.
Mr. Man.
So I forget his name. I could picture him. That hit his head on the thing. That was a tough watch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Walter? No. Victor?
Bruce?
Bruce. I felt like it was a strong man name.
Yeah.
You know, Walter, like Walter White. You know, Victor. Victory. Yeah. It's time to go. You can find us on the socials at StratChatPod or on our website at stratchatpod.com. Like, subscribe, and share with a friend, you know. And keep hanging out. This was really fun. It's a good time. Thanks for hanging.
Yeah.
Anything else for our friends here?
No. See you soon.
Right. That we will.